Hello. Recently I was sexually assaulted, and I have found that a really good way of me coping is by basically warning others of the fact that literally outside your house is pretty fucking dangerous, and that it's okay to talk about these things. I don't make videos, I don't do this sort of thing, so this might be pretty scatty and badly done. I just thought I would discuss things that happened to me that I didn't expect. I mean, everybody is different. You may hear this and think, oh well, that's really obvious. Of course you would think that blah, blah, blah. Tips on how to cope and how things will get better. The first thing I have to point out is don't ever look at blockbuster films that feature sexual assault in and just think that's what it's like. If you think that you're gonna be sat in a shower crying for hours and hours without anyone banging on the door and saying, we have more questions to ask you, think again, because that is basically it. What they do is they treat your body as a crime scene. They'll need to thoroughly examine all of you. So yeah, no sobbing in the shower for hours. It's just, there's just no time for that. As for crying, you might not even cry for, well, at the time you might not cry for the next few days, the next few weeks after it happened. I found myself kind of sitting there and not crying. I did feel guilty. I did think, am I not taking this seriously enough? Should I be sadder than I am? Telling myself to see it is very similar to grief. Your body and your mind are in a state of shock, and sometimes things are so unfathomable, you can't process them, and therefore you can't enter a state of catharsis where you are crying and expressing your emotions for these horrible things that have happened. Constant stream of questions. Some of these are ridiculous and horribly personal. I got asked, were you wearing your pants and tights inside out that night? And did you have hairspray in? If so, how much hairspray? My favourite, not really my favourite, was, were you a virgin prior to this incident? And I got asked that so many times. At one point I really snapped at a police officer. I said, it is really none of your fucking business, please just leave me alone. And I instantly felt ashamed and embarrassed because she was really lovely, just doing her job, but people asking you the same thing over and over again. But when it's things that are so intimate like that, it's just... And on the topic of intimacy, you will be taken to a place which is basically where it's like forensics but for your body, and as soon as you step through that door, just any insecurity and embarrassment about your body, just leave it behind. You will basically bear all. And I mean, I didn't expect them to literally measure cuts and bruises on me down to the millimeter. It's just very thorough, which is good, but also very uncomfortable seeing my toes or my toenails or even my fingernails because they're gross, let alone being completely naked. It was completely surreal, sitting or laying on a table completely naked. The women are lovely. The ones I had, which was Maidstone, are amazing. They made me feel very welcome and calm. Chatted about my tattoos, they chatted about Louis Theroux. It was very made me feel very safe, and that was good. And they were incredibly helpful, and they will let you stop whenever you want. If you don't want to take your socks off or your pants or whatever, you just say nope, and they are completely fine with that. Another thing, they will give you, if you need it, if it's required, it depends on the sort of sexual attack which, hold on, stands for post-exposure prophylaxis. I don't know if that's visible. This is basically an HIV prevention medication, which I didn't even know existed. I didn't know this sort of thing existed, and I didn't think they did pill boxes this big either. This is huge. But you've got to take 3 of these a day. You have to take them exactly 12 hours apart. I would advise setting alarms for. I have 2 alarms that go off every day, and honestly, when they've gone off, I think, holy fuck, if I didn't set an alarm for this, I would not be taking these tablets right now. Because these are a blessing and a curse. They're horrible. The symptom I found, or the side effect I found the worst, was this nauseating fullness that you feel. I felt full all the time, and not just like no appetite. Oh, do you fancy half of my sandwich? Oh no thank you. Sort of like I've just eaten 2 Christmas dinners and I feel like I could explode. My tip for dealing with that is kind of find a food that you feel comfortable eating. For me, fruit, very nutritious, and it doesn't really feel like you're consuming so much because they are very liquid dense as well, full of water. Drink lots of water. Just drain the fucking life out of you. Sleep all the time. And I also just wanted to sleep all the time. I still do want to sleep all the time. The stress and reality of everything, like sexual assault is not pleasant and it drains you, your emotions. You're just gonna feel shit. And usually when you feel shit, you just want to nap. Unfortunately, a nap doesn't really solve this. It doesn't really go away very quickly. And you have to take these for a month. I've actually, I think I've got halfway to go for these. Also, we'll probably have to have hepatitis B jab. That's alright. I mean, if you don't like needles, then I'm sorry. That's really something to take into consideration. Going back to the not having time to yourself, you really will have to be ready at any moment because sadly this sort of shit goes on all the time. I was waiting to have a video interview. I've been waiting for all kinds of different things, DNA results back, going to have swabs done, all kinds of things. But as soon as it happens, your body is a 24, or it's a crime scene. It's going to be a long period of time before you get that personal space. And when I did finally get that personal space, I got myself some really lovely products from Lush because I hadn't had a shower since I went out that like day before. I felt disgusting, I felt unclean, and also if you are sexually assaulted, it's one of the sort of cliches, but you do feel disgusting, you feel unclean. And I do think a big reason for that is if you do go through the process of telling somebody, you will be taken and you will be sort of forensically examined and you won't be allowed to wash. I mean, as soon as I came home, called the police, they said to me, don't wash your hands, don't brush your teeth, don't go for a shower, don't brush your hair. Right. Yeah, my camera ran out of space, so I had to go and offload it and then start again basically. You're not prepared for it. It is like grief. You are in shock, you don't know what to say to the person, all kinds of emotions. There were points where I said to myself, why is everyone fussing so much? And obviously that sounds so ridiculous to me now, like a while later. I understand why people are fussing so much, but I guess that is one of the joyous ways of human coping mechanisms. We just don't think properly when catastrophes are happening, so prepare yourself for that. It's not going to be black and white. It's not going to be like, this happened, I feel this, and this is how I move on from that. It's going to be like, did that just happen? Am I feeling this? Am I glad about this? Am I sad about this? Do I literally want to jump out the window? I don't know. Just keep eating fruit and taking your demon pills, and I promise things will improve. They really will. The horrible thing was I was constantly worried, paranoid that people that knew were going to treat me differently. They were going to treat me like a victim. They were going to look down on me. They were going to pity me. No one likes to be pitied. Maybe even these. Lack of sleep, sleep deprivation, thinking, and low mood, and obviously all of that combined together turns you into some kind of horrible, morbid, not horrible, but very upset and very not in a good place kind of person. Not yourself. Another thing that really threw me, and this does make me sound like a complete 21st century gremlin, but I had to have my phone taken away from me to go to forensics, and I didn't get it for a whole week. Yep, 1 whole week, 7 days, and it makes me embarrassed to say I felt like I lost a fucking limb. Sorry, you don't have a phone, which is like a crux. First of all, I didn't feel safe going out because I was just terrified of the world. But secondly, if I do go out, my phone is like, if I'm at the bus stop and I feeling kind of not really wanting to talk to anybody that day, just whip out my phone, start editing some pictures. I personally won't go for everyone. I personally found weird is my lack of desire to drink alcoholic beverages. There was nothing in me that wanted to drink, which is very unusual. I like a drink. I'm an 18-year-old girl, but I think it was, I don't want to sound really emo, but it was a different kind of sadness and shock and upset. Nothing, usually I'm like, oh fuck it, I've failed a test, or someone doesn't fucking like me, or I'm just gonna have a drink and things will hopefully improve. But this really didn't. A very numb feeling for quite some time. Don't even really feel like drinking now, and I would drink a lot. I'm not really sure what else to say. I hope this has been quite informative. I'm sorry for my poor grammar. I think it's out of nerves and my sporadic behaviour and my constant picking up of this stupid fucking demon pills. I actually quite like cold coffee. Please don't take this video the wrong way. I am just trying to use my experience to educate others. That's all I want, really. And I've said it to quite a lot of people that I know. Just don't veer off when you're out at night alone, when you're out clubbing, drinking, whatnot. Stay with people, get a taxi home. It's really worth the little bit of money, even if you do have to go far. But thank you for watching, and if you relate to this in any way, and if you're struggling with something like this, I'm a very friendly person and I will be willing to talk to anybody about anything and help anyone in any way I can. Oh god, I'm so awkward. Okay, thank you. Bye.